Most Shopify CRO agencies are built to fail. And it's not because they're lazy, it's because of how they're set up. So before you sign anything, we're going to tell you in this video how to find the good ones and how to tell them apart. So my name's Clay. I'm the co-founder at Convertibles. We are a Shopify Plus exclusive CRO agency working with brands doing at least $2 million a year. We work with brands like Performance Golf, Jones Road Beauty, Gymreapers, and I know intimately how these deals are sold for Shopify and how most of them are sold wrong. So the first point I want to make, I call it the 3-vendor trap. Here's the first trap. Most brands end up with 3 vendors. A CRO agency that designs tests. They got a dev shop that's doing the actual development. They got an ads agency that builds the traffic source, and nobody really owns the result. And when revenue is flat, everybody's pointing at somebody else. So you want a CRO team that owns the development, the design, the speed, does everything as a full funnel. So you want your agency responsible for the outcome. And the way that they can own the outcome is own the research, the design, the development, and the implementation of the tests. If they're just doing the designs, they don't have enough skin in the game to get the result. So that's the whole game. The next point is, what are you actually going to be looking for? So we have a checklist, and we'll walk you through the 5 things that we believe are most important. So the first one is in-house, not outsourced. This is a really big point. Look at the team structure. Look who runs the code, who runs the tests, and answer this. Is the contractor subcontracted from a different time zone, or is it a full-time employee who's invested in that agency? That's a really big distinction. 2, make sure you're measured on revenue, not just conversion rate. Higher conversion rate with lower revenue is a loss. It's great. Most agencies will report on dollars, a very optimistic snapshot based on an early test result of estimated impact. But you want to be looking, like most brand owners, at year-over-year growth. That's an incentive alignment. That's what brand owners mostly care about, and conversion rate is a means to that end. So 3 is real test velocity. So CRO needs traffic to hit stat sig. That's a core fundamental necessity to run a CRO program. If a brand is too small, a good agency tells you to wait. A bad one tells you, the tests can never prove anything. So it's actually a good thing if your CRO agency you're talking to is setting these parameters and limitations on what you can test, how much you can test, where on your site you can test, because you need enough traffic to hit the velocity to actually make the program pay off. So 4, named proof, not just awards. Anyone can buy a badge. Ask for brands, ask for numbers, ask for wins, see specific case studies. What was the insight? What was the hypothesis of the test? How did the test look before and after? And what was the result? And that's all verifiable, typically through case studies. And then you can actually reach out and say, I'd like to talk to that client of yours and validate this, just like you would an employee where you do a reference check. You want to do that for a brand owner as well. And then 5, you want to talk to the people doing the work. So not an account manager who relays messages. The person reading your data should be the person you can email. So that's really important. Point 3 on red flags. So if a CRO agency opens with a full redesign, be really careful. A redesign is a guess with a really big invoice. And good CRO starts with tests, and a redesign only happens once the data earns it. We see this with brands over and over, 8-figure brands, even 9-figure brands. They're just not happy, so they say, we're going to hire the biggest, most expensive web design agency we can that has a conversion focus, and then they put 6 months and 6 figures of effort into a rebuild, and it's flat or down because they change too many things at once. If you're going through a rebrand, that's a different process, and you need to bring the site up to standards. But it's much better to test incrementally, page template by page template. So if an agency is selling you just best practices, these best practices are just other brands winning tests. Your store is not their store. Your customer is not their customer. The problems, the issues, the frictions, the concerns that your customer has are not the same as another store. So likely what's going to work for a different brand is not necessarily going to work for you. And if all they talk about is conversion rate, ask about revenue and ad spend. Ask about blended CPA, blended ROAS. Is CRO helping the brands get leverage there? Because if it's not working. So you want one team that owns the outcome, gets paid on revenue, real proof, people you can actually reach, Get those 4 right, and you filtered out probably 90% of the market. If you want to see how we do it, we've got a link in the description. You can book a call with us. We mock up over a 1-month roadmap. We do research on your brand all prior to the call. So thank you for watching. We'd love to have a conversation with you if you run a Shopify Plus brand and see how CRO can work for you.